Alright, so Zhongli's shield is quite strong. It can absorb a ton of damage, but again, it's not a perfect shield. Even with a fight like a Jada, we're gonna take almost all this damage. You can still have your shield broken, and it's not an invincible shield. So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about Zhongli and see the flaws in his kit. We're gonna talk about the positives of the character and who he's really good for. Let's jump into it. So Dongers has been out for quite a long time. He is probably the biggest drip character in Genshin Impact before Arataki Itto, and of course, because he's such a mad lad, he does have a lot of different artifact sets you can run with him. The most common artifact set I see people running, of course, is going to be the 4-piece Tenacity in the middle set for of course, a great supporting build. Other builds that I see all the time are 2-piece Tenacity as well as 2-piece Noblesse, or even going into 2-piece Archaic Petra and 2-piece Noblesse for bigger nuke builds. As far as which build is the best build, it doesn't really matter on Zhongli. For his overall sets, most people will go with a Millicet because you'll get a comparable amount of damage with the 4-piece Millicet versus the 2-piece Noblesse and 2-piece Archaic Petra set, and it's more than fine to go with. As far as builds go, you typically want to go with an HP percentage stance. You want to go with a Geo Goblet or an HP percentage goblet, depending on your preference for having a tankier shield or more damage. And of course, a crit chance or crit damage headpiece or an HP percentage headpiece, depending on if, again, you want higher tankiness or you want bigger damage. Weapon choice options, of course, best thing to be running for him is going to be either a Blackcliff Polearm or a Deathmatch. And for tankiness options, I don't have one right now because I don't really like the weapon, but it is a Black Tassel. It's going to be the free-to-play option of choice that you can actually use to get yourself HP percentage. Beyond that, Zhongli is a character that's going to work on a few different teams, and we're going to talk about those teams first, and then we'll talk about the problems of Zhongli. So first off, the biggest team that just came out to Genshin Impact for Zhongli is going to be the 4-man Geo Squad, which is probably one of the more powerful teams in Genshin currently, and is a very, very meaty team when it comes to just raw Geo damage. Of course, Zhongli is the big proponent in this team, of course, is very much here because of his ability to lower the resistances of the enemy. And the big reason Zhongli is a coveted unit is because Zhongli has two major things. The first is his shield that allows him to, of course, absorb mad lad amounts of damage, and the second is the elemental resistance shred that he provides with his shield. If you're not aware, Zhongli, the reason he is so viable in a lot of different team compositions is because he has the ability to reduce elemental and physical resistance of opponents by 20%. This is known as a universal elemental resistance reduction, and it's the only one in Genshin. So if you were looking to make a mono Geo team and lower the resistances of Geo, there's only two different ways. The first, of course, is using Zhongli's shield, and the second, of course, is by using the Geo Resonance, which will also lower Geo resistance by 20%. But there are no other ways of lowering resistances of enemies. There are ways of lowering defense, but those are a completely separate matter. In addition to that, he's also the only free-to-play option that you actually will have for a Mad Lad Zhao team. So if you wanted to boost out your Zhao, the only way of lowering animo resistances for a Constellation 0 5-star is going to be with Zhongli. And this is going to be a massive boost in overall damage because there's no other way of reducing resistances besides the Animo Traveler. In addition to that, you could be using Zhongli on some types of melt teams in order to reduce resistances even further. He's also quite widely used on Eula teams, of course, to reduce physical resistance with Raiden Shogun. So there's a lot of positives to the character, and he can be used in a numerous amount of ways. And the most common team that he's actually seen on is going to be the Hu Tao team, which is one of the best teams for him because he provides the resistances that Hu Tao needs, as well as the resistance shred, and of course the shield that keeps everybody alive, and a Geo Resonance, which will pair with Albedo. Zhongli is not a flawless character, and there might be some things coming out in the future that will make Zhongli less and less viable. All right, this is the problem of future Zhongli compositions. This mechanic is a big counter. Here's a shield, they're gonna hit me. They energy sap me, my shield is still up, my HP went down. All right, same thing, but now we're gonna do it starting at 0 energy. And I guess about 50% HP. Ow. Ow. The second problem with Zhongli. All right, our team is at full HP, and I'm gonna do this one thing. We got hit by 1 corrosion stack. That's how much damage it does in comparison. Now let's get hit by a bunch of corrosion stacks. Okay, before we get hit by this, I'm gonna fully heal the Zhongli so we can see how fast he gets shredded. So, in a matter of, like, just say 2 big rotation hits, you can lose all your HP on Zhongli while blocking all the damage. You get hit by some other hits right here. Now, through the shield, you die. But your other characters in your team will stop at a certain threshold of HP, but you'll still die. And now that your Zhongli's dead, you have no protection. So these are the 2 big problems of Zhongli. You still have to dodge with a shield. The last thing I want to talk about, of course, is Zhongli actually is a character that is going to be a universal character for another area coming out very soon, which is going to be Sumeru. Sumeru will probably happen in the area past the chasm, which is a completely different area that's going to have a new element in the game called Dendro. And Dendro, if you're not aware, is going to be one of those annoying elements that causes burning. So unfortunately, there's nothing in the game to talk about Dendro at all, and there's no like filter to actually show it. But essentially, Dendro. Oh, hey, I got 2 pyramids. Dendro is one of those elements that it's going to be more support, like kind of like the way the Geo and Animal are in order for other elements. And the thing that is, the Zhongli shield will have the ability, most likely, to lower resistances of Dendro, and will be one of the few elements that can actually confirmed lower Dendro, because reading Zhongli's overall description, he reduces all elemental resistances, and if Dendro is an element, it leads to the reason that that's going to be a Dendro resistance reduction. In comparison, there's only one other way that's really widely used to lower resistances, and that is going to be by using Swirl. However, it is not clear if we can use Animo to lower resistances of Dendro, because we do not know if Dendro can be swirled. So it leads to the reason that Zhongli might have some future-proof options versus Dendro versus any other character in Genshin currently. So if you wanted to use him with your Dendro characters in the future, that might be a great option. We're in the middle of 2.4, and the last patch that came out for a major shift patch was right after 1.6 to get the 2.0 patch. I assume we have less than 3 months of overall content, maybe 4.5 months, 3 to 4.5 months left before we actually get to Sumeru or see some type of shift to the next region. So because the next region might be coming quite soon, it might be a good idea to pick up Zhongli in general if you wanted to summon for Dendro characters. So when you're thinking about Zhongli, no matter what you do, there's always a gamble. And if you wanted to say if he's going to be good or not, it's really hard to tell if he's going to be good for the future, but you always know he's consistent. He always likes osmanthus wine. Now, one of the biggest ways to, of course, counter the shortcoming of Zhongli that I found is by using a prototype Amber on one of the characters with your Zhongli. But now I feel like I'm bringing 2 different characters to heal my team, because now I'm bringing a support character to heal as well as another support character to tank. So it feels like you're bringing 2 different characters that provide the same role. So it feels like Zhongli's role fulfillment on your team compositions doesn't feel as strong in certain content. However, for Geo teams and other things, he's going to be a very irreplaceable character. So just know that if you wanted to use him no matter what, I personally use him on my Battle Pass Welcome account almost always on a 4-piece Mila set, because if you're on a budget account, that little bit of extra attack always does help out. And I really find that's going to be the best overall option for him as far as my personal preference. Well, that's going to do it for this short video. I just want to give my brief take on Zhongli as a character and give you guys insights on where he's going to be. Make sure to like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.